Have you ever treated her like a queen, only to watch her leave like you were nothing? Most men believe love is enough. They think loyalty, effort, and kindness should guarantee attraction. But here's the painful paradox. Those exact behaviors, when given too freely, are often the very reason she loses interest. It's not that she doesn't appreciate your love, it's that certainty kills desire. That's why so many men get blindsided. One moment she's laughing at your jokes, clinging to your arm, swearing she's never felt this way before. Next, she's distant, distracted, drifting away, and you're left replaying everything, asking yourself, how can treating her better make her want me less? The truth is, women don't fall in love with the man who gives them everything on a silver platter. They fall for the man who makes them feel something deeper. Mystery, challenge, uncertainty, the thrill of having to earn his attention. That emotional chase is the heartbeat of attraction. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why this happens. How female psychology has been wired for thousands of years to crave men who hold their frame, and how you can flip the dynamic. So instead of chasing her, she chases you. This isn't just another dating tip. This is the raw truth about women that almost no one dares to tell you. And once you see it, you'll never look at attraction the same way again. Here's the first truth most men never hear. Women are wired to be drawn to men who appear stronger, more capable, and more valuable than themselves. This isn't a conscious choice. It's ancient programming built into her DNA after thousands of years of survival. Back in the ancestral world, a woman's survival depended on picking a man who could protect her and provide. If she chose the weak, overly sweet man who couldn't defend or feed her family, her bloodline ended. Nature didn't reward niceness. It rewarded strength, confidence, and leadership. That filter is still running today, even if we don't live in caves anymore. What does that mean now? When she senses your value is lower than hers, her attraction switch flips off. She can't explain why. She just says, "I don't feel it anymore." Attraction doesn't speak in words, it whispers through instincts. And every time you act needy, desperate, or too eager to please, you're signaling weakness. Her instincts pick it up instantly, and the spark fades. This is why so many men get blindsided. They think constant gifts, good morning texts, and total availability will prove their worth. But to her instincts, it screams the opposite. You have no options. You're just grateful to be there. Dating today is like a marketplace, what psychologists call sexual market value. Everyone walks around with a perceived value based on looks, confidence, status, and behavior. And here's the harsh truth. Women are only truly attracted to men they see as one step above them. Not equal, not below, above. And that perception, it's shaped less by your job title, paycheck, or ABS, and far more by how you carry yourself, how you respond to her, and how little you need her validation. Let me show you how this works in real life. I once knew a man who had it all: successful attorney, luxury car, sharp suits, great shape. On paper, he was perfect. In dating, he went all in. Fancy dinners, expensive gifts, endless compliments, all was available. You'd think women would cling to him. But within weeks, the spark died. They moved on. And then there was another guy, the total opposite. A bartender living in a tiny apartment, barely scraping by. But his mindset was different. He carried himself like a man with options. No grand gestures, just light, casual fun. A coffee date, a walk, a playful tease. If she didn't text back, he didn't chase. He just kept living his life. The result? Women were hooked. They chased him. They tried harder. They obsessed over what he thought. So what made the difference? It wasn't money, status, or even looks. It was how each man projected his value. The lawyer, despite his success, acted like he was lucky to have her. Every move screamed, "Please don't leave me." The bartender acted like he was the prize. Not arrogant, just a man who didn't need her validation. And here's the truth. Women respond more to perceived value than actual value. A man who radiates confidence, self-control, and the ability to walk away will always outshine the man with money who bends over backward. Women are constantly scanning how you handle rejection, how you respond to tests, how you hold yourself. Those tiny signals speak louder than your car or your paycheck. Here's the second principle that flips everything you thought you knew about attraction. The less certain a woman is about your interest, the more mental space you take up in her mind. This isn't a theory, it's psychology. Humans value what feels uncertain, and we take for granted what feels guaranteed. When you show your hand too quickly, you kill the suspense. Constant texts, constant praise, rearranging your life to prove how much you like her. She has nothing left to wonder about. No mystery, no challenge, nothing to chase. And once she knows exactly where she stands, her energy starts shifting away. But when you hold a little back, something powerful happens. Her brain lights up with questions. Does he really like me? Why hasn't he texted yet? What's he doing right now? That uncertainty doesn't push her away. It hooks her. Because the very act of wondering makes her invest more energy in you. Let me give you a simple scenario. Two men meet the same woman. Both have a good time. The first man sends a long text the very next morning. "I had the best time last night. You're amazing. When can I see you again?" Sweet? Sure. But predictable. Safe. Flat. The second man waits 3 days, then sends a short, confident message. Drinks? Tuesday. 7. No emojis. No over-the-top enthusiasm. Just direct intent. Which guy do you think she thinks about more? This is where intermittent reinforcement kicks in. Psychologists have proven it's the most addictive kind of reward. That's why gamblers can't stop pulling the slot machine lever, because the payoff is unpredictable. Your attention works the same way. If you give it consistently, every time, she adapts and loses interest. But if you give it unpredictably, in doses she can't predict, she starts craving it like a drug. Think of your approval like currency. If you flood the market with it, it becomes worthless. Scarcity makes it valuable. And here's the sad truth. Most men spend their entire emotional budget in the first week. Compliments, constant replies, endless availability. And then they wonder why she's gone by week 2. But the men who pace themselves, who let her wonder, who create that uncertainty, they're the ones who spark obsession. One of the fastest ways to kill attraction is predictability. When she knows exactly what you'll say, exactly when you'll call, and exactly how you'll react, the excitement dies. Relationships that start fiery don't cool off because love disappears. They cool off because the man becomes routine. At first, he's spontaneous. He surprises her with new experiences, new energy, new sides of himself. But over time, he calls at the same hour every night, takes her to the same restaurant, asks the same questions, responds the same way every time. To him, this feels like stability. To her, it feels like the mystery is gone. Once she can predict every move, she no longer has to invest energy in figuring him out. And the moment she stops investing energy, the spark fades. This is why the bad boy stereotype has so much power. It's not that women crave men who treat them poorly. What they crave is the unpredictability. The fact that the bad boy doesn't play by the same boring script. He's not glued to his phone waiting for her reply. He's not afraid to walk away. He has his own rhythm, his own frame, and she never quite knows what's coming next. That uncertainty pulls her in. And here's what most men hate to admit. Attraction is not logical. It doesn't follow a straight line of effort equals love. Women don't fall hardest for the man who gives them everything up front. They fall for the man who leaves them guessing. The man whose attention feels like a prize, not a guarantee. The truth is simple. Women crave emotional stimulation. Predictability numbs it. Uncertainty heightens it. And the man who understands this doesn't have to play games or act fake. He simply avoids giving everything too soon. By keeping her just a little off balance, he makes her lean in. He makes her chase. He makes her invest. That's the secret most men never learn. The more unpredictable you are, the longer the fire lasts. Here's something most men completely miss. When a woman challenges you, she's not testing your skills, your money, or your strength. She's testing your interest level. Every cold reply, every casual mention of another guy, every dismissive glance. These aren't random. They're unconscious ways of measuring how much power she has over you. Most men fail instantly. They assume she's testing to see if they're man enough to handle her moods. So what do? They rush to win her back. They beg for reassurance. They bend just to keep the peace. And in that moment, they reveal the truth. I like you more than you like me. Once she senses that imbalance, the dynamic flips. She's in control. You're chasing. And the attraction that once pulled her in begins to collapse. Let's break it down. The comparison test. She mentions how attractive another man is, or casually talks about her ex. Wrong move? Get jealous, defensive. Try to prove yourself. Right move? Stay calm, maybe even agree. Show zero insecurity. The availability test. She cancels last minute. Wrong move? Scramble to reschedule or sulk in disappointment. Right move? No problem. You move on. You fill your time. You don't chase. The attitude test. She gets cold, throws attitude, pulls back. Wrong move? Ask what's wrong. Try to cheer her up. Beg for her warmth again. Right move? Mirror her energy. Stay calm. Let her come back when she's ready. These aren't games designed to torture you. They're instinct, hardwired. She's checking if your value holds steady under pressure or if you'll crumble. The men who pass these tests don't need tricks. They don't memorize lines. They simply don't need her validation to feel solid. They know their worth. They keep their frame. And when you pass consistently, something flips inside her. Instead of pulling away, she leans in. Instead of rejecting you, her biology invests deeper. She feels challenged, intrigued, and drawn closer. That's the paradox. The more you hold your ground, the more she chases. When a woman pulls away, most men take it personally. They think she stopped caring. They think love just died. But here's the real truth. Her attraction doesn't fade because she suddenly lost interest. It fades because deep in her biology, her brain is screaming, he's no longer a safe bet. This isn't conscious. She may still like you as a person. She may still respect you. But desire is a different story. Desire is primal. Desire is ruthless. Here's how it works. The moment she perceives your value as lower than hers, her instincts go on high alert. He can't protect me. He can't lead. He's not strong enough. Those thoughts don't appear in words. Her body just reacts. The spark disappears. She's less affectionate. She grows irritable. She avoids intimacy. Something feels off, and you can sense it even if she can't explain it. Think about why this is built into her. For thousands of years, choosing the wrong man wasn't just inconvenient. It was life or death. Pregnancy left women vulnerable. Raising children required strength, resources, and protection. Pick a man who couldn't provide, and her whole bloodline was at risk. That ancient software hasn't been deleted. It's still running beneath the surface today. And here's the painful part. When you stop standing up to her, she assumes you can't stand up for her. If you bend too easily, if you chase too desperately, if you crumble under pressure, her instincts scream, "This man can't lead me. He can't protect me." And attraction crashes. That's why so many men are blindsided. They think being endlessly accommodating will make her loyal forever. But instead, it triggers her biology to move on. Once that switch flips, it's brutally hard to reverse. But here's the good news. This isn't the end. Because once you realize her loss of attraction isn't about your worth as a man, but about her subconscious survival filter, you can shift. You can stop signaling weakness. You can reclaim the strength and frame she instinctively wants to follow. When you hold that frame, her biology doesn't reject you. It leans in, and suddenly the fire reignites. Most men miss one of the clearest signals a woman gives when she feels she might lose you. She changes the way she communicates. Normally, women speak in hints. They rarely say exactly what they want. She'll say, "I'm cold," instead of, "Can you give me your jacket?" She'll say, "I'm hungry," instead of, "Let's get food." This subtle, indirect style is her default when she feels safe about where she stands with you. But when she starts worrying, you might slip away. Everything shifts. The hints disappear. Suddenly, she becomes direct, bold, obvious. Instead of vague comments, you get late-night texts like, "I miss you," calls out of nowhere just to hear your voice, messages like, "I can't wait to see you." That's not random affection. It's instinct. Her subconscious is screaming, "This man could leave. I need to lock him down before someone else does." When a woman really likes a guy, she stops playing games. She answers quickly. She invests energy. She shows up consistently, and the less certain she feels about your interest, the more effort she puts in. Her hypergamous instincts, the same evolutionary software we've been talking about, are firing at full speed, pushing her to secure you before she loses her chance. This is where mainstream dating advice completely fails men. You've probably heard, just make more money, dress better, hit the gym. Sure, those things can help, but they're not what keeps her hooked. Because you could be rich, jacked, and stylish, and still lose her if your behavior signals low value. On the other hand, an average guy with an average life can keep a beautiful woman completely obsessed if he understands this principle. All he has to do is hold his frame, avoid giving himself away too quickly, and maintain just enough uncertainty to keep her investing. Here's the bottom line. When she feels like she's already got you wrapped around her finger, she relaxes and pulls back. But when she feels like she could lose you, she leans in harder. Attraction isn't built on logic. It's built on emotion. And nothing stirs her emotions more than the fear of losing a man she truly desires. This is why the usual advice men hear never goes deep enough. People say, get in shape, make more money, upgrade your wardrobe, learn new skills. And yes, those things matter. They can get you noticed. They can open doors. But they are not the foundation of attraction. They don't keep her there. Because once your behavior starts signaling weakness, none of those external upgrades matter anymore. You can be rich, ripped, and stylish. But if you crumble under pressure, you lose her. I've seen it with my own eyes. Millionaires dumped by women who worked in coffee shops. High-status men abandoned because they bent too easily. They revealed too much interest too quickly. They failed her tests. And the second she sensed she was the one holding the power, her attraction evaporated. And then I've seen the opposite. Average guys with average jobs keeping gorgeous women completely obsessed. Not because of money, not because of looks, but because they carried themselves with quiet confidence. They refused to chase validation. They passed her tests without even trying. Here's the real truth. Attraction doesn't depend on what you own. It depends on how you behave. Every time she pulls away, every time she challenges you, every time she gives you attitude, she's running those tests. Not consciously, but instinctively. Fail them, and she feels you're weak. Pass them, and you lock in her respect and her desire. That's why self-improvement alone isn't enough. You could transform your body, stack your bank account, wear the sharpest suit in the room. But if you can't hold frame when she tests you, none of it matters. The men who win aren't the ones who memorize clever lines or play fake games. They're the ones who truly embody abundance, who know they don't need her validation, who never trade their dignity for attention. When you project that energy, she feels it. She can't explain it, but she feels it in her bones. And once she feels it, something shifts. She invests deeper. She chases harder. She starts fighting for your approval instead of the other way around. Here's one of the strangest truths about attraction. Women often stay hooked on men who treat them worse, while walking away from the ones who treat them the best. At first, it feels completely backwards. Why would anyone choose disrespect over devotion? The answer is hidden in what that behavior signals. When a man risks losing her by not prioritizing her every demand, it sends a powerful message. It says, I have options. My life doesn't revolve around you. I can walk away if I need to. To her instincts, that screams strength. It screams abundance. The so-called nice guy, on the other hand, signals the opposite. Every constant compliment, every desperate attempt to please, every moment of walking on eggshells, his behavior screams, "You're out of my league. I'm just grateful you picked me." And while she might enjoy the attention at first, her instincts will eventually reject it. Because deep down, no woman wants to feel like the prize in a game that's already been won without effort. That's why you'll hear women say, "I don't know why, but I just lost interest," after dating a man who treated them well. It's not that kindness kills attraction. It's that unconditional kindness, without boundaries, without standards, feels like weakness. And weakness never fuels desire. Here's the paradox. Women don't fall in love with how much you give them. They fall in love with how you make them feel about themselves. If you put her on a pedestal and chase her, she feels powerful, but not attracted. But if she feels like she's chasing you, earning your attention, fighting for your approval, suddenly she feels invested. She feels challenged. And that challenge is what lights the fire of obsession. So when women choose the so-called bad boy, it's not the disrespect they're addicted to. It's the value signals hidden underneath. His confidence, his unpredictability, his refusal to pedestalize her. Those are the traits her instincts crave. And until the nice guy learns to project those same signals without turning into a jerk, he'll keep losing to men who, on the surface, seem to treat her worse. Attraction isn't logical. It doesn't come from checklists or spreadsheets. It's emotional. And the strongest emotional trigger is how scarce, valuable, and secure you appear in yourself. That's where the abundance mindset comes in. Abundance isn't about juggling multiple women. It's not about bragging, cheating, or living like a player. True abundance is a state of mind. It's knowing you don't need any one woman to feel complete. It's the quiet confidence that says, I have options. I choose you, but I don't depend on you. And when you carry yourself with that energy, everything changes. You stop chasing. You stop over-investing. You stop bending over backward just to keep her happy. Instead, you lead your life on your terms. And ironically, that's exactly what makes her lean in harder. Because here's what her instincts pick up on. A man who isn't clinging is a man who could easily be claimed by someone else. That possibility triggers urgency. It makes her invest more. It makes her fight for your attention instead of you fighting for hers. Most men, sadly, live in scarcity. They meet one woman who shows interest and instantly crown her the one. From that moment, everything they do is drenched in fear. Fear of losing her. Fear of messing up. Fear of being alone again. And that fear seeps into their behavior. She feels it. And the more she feels your desperation, the faster her attraction dies. The man with abundance plays a different game. He doesn't panic when she pulls back. He doesn't crumble when she tests him. He knows his value. He knows another opportunity could appear tomorrow. That mindset alone makes him magnetic. Scarcity repels. Abundance attracts. And the man who embodies abundance doesn't have to pretend to be a bad boy. He doesn't need games. His energy says it all. I want you, but I don't need you. And that, to her instincts, is irresistible. There's another piece of the puzzle most men overlook, and it's one of the most powerful drivers of attraction: masculine leadership. This doesn't mean being controlling, bossy, or domineering. Real leadership is about clarity, decisiveness, confidence, the ability to stand firm in your frame while inviting her to follow. Women aren't drawn to a man who hands over the wheel. They're drawn to a man who knows where he's going. Think about it. One guy asks every time, "What do you want to do tonight?" He thinks he's being considerate, but what he's really doing is putting the responsibility on her shoulders. Another guy says, "We're trying that new Italian spot downtown. You'll love it." Not demanding, not rude, just decisive. That subtle difference completely changes how she feels around him. Masculine leadership also means maintaining your frame. Your frame is how you see yourself, your relationship, your world. And here's the truth: women will constantly test it, sometimes directly, sometimes playfully, sometimes unconsciously. She'll challenge your decisions, tease you, push your buttons, not because she wants to control you, but because she needs to feel that your frame is strong enough to lead. Most men fail these moments. They fold under pressure. They abandon their perspective the second they sense disapproval. But the high-value man holds steady. He doesn't blow up. He doesn't argue. He stays calm, grounded, unmoved. That quiet confidence tells her everything she needs to know. A man with strong frame control isn't stubborn. He listens. He considers. But he doesn't compromise his core to win approval. And paradoxically, that's what makes her respect him more. Because here's the truth: if you can't stand up to her, how could you ever stand up for her? Leadership isn't about dominance. It's about vision. It's about inviting her into your world, not orbiting around hers. When you make decisions with confidence, when you show direction without fear, she feels safe. And that safety, combined with the challenge and uncertainty you've already created, is what keeps attraction alive for the long run. Here's the truth most men don't want to face. Love and attraction are not the same. Love is comfort and stability. Attraction is challenge, mystery, and the thrill of pursuit. You can pour your whole heart into her, but if that spark dies, she won't stay with passion. She might love you, but she won't crave you. The nice guy fails because he thinks effort equals loyalty. But attraction runs on a different fuel. A woman can care about you, even respect you. But once desire fades, everything falls apart. The men who win understand balance. They give love, but never at the cost of attraction. They're kind, but not predictable. Supportive, but not needy. Decisive, but never desperate. They keep her cared for, yet still challenged. Secure, yet never complacent. That tension is what keeps desire alive. So you face a choice. Stay stuck, chasing, overgiving, begging for love, and keep asking why she drifts. Or step up, step into truth, become the man she feels lucky to win. Because women don't fall for what you give them. They fall for how you make them feel about themselves. And when she feels she's chasing you, that's when attraction never dies. Stop chasing women. Start being the man they chase. Follow now, because the next truth I reveal will change everything.